In the first decade, the MCU grabbed millions and millions of people right by the heartstrings, and honestly, it hasn't ever let go. Welcome, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, welcome to the Chaos Multiverse. Today, I want to revisit the Infinity Saga. It's in the past, but it will be talked about for a long time. I want to go over my 20 most powerful moments of the Infinity Saga. So get your nostalgia feelers ready, maybe get a box of tissues, you may need it. Drop a like, make sure you guys have those notifications turned on, and let's jump right into it. Let's start off at number 20 with Cap almost lifts Mjolnir in the Age of Ultron. We're gonna kick things off with a moment that it broke the internet. When Age of Ultron first came out in theaters, people were debating endlessly over whether or not Steve actually moved Mjolnir during the party scene. And then, when we were able to go back and analyze the movie on DVD, you heard me right, DVD, we saw that he did indeed get some movement, a bit of foreshadowing. At number 19, she's not alone. In Infinity War, loneliness has been a major theme with Wanda ever since she was introduced in the Age of Ultron. She always felt like an outcast, and after losing her brother, well, it took her a long time to really open up to her new family. During the battles of Wakanda and Infinity War, when it seemed like all hope was lost, Natasha shows up and reminds Wanda she's not alone, not only by saving her life, but also reaffirming to her that she has a true family. Before we get into number 18, guys, we are giving away a monthly PlayStation 5 on this channel every single month, all the way through the end of the year. All you have to do to be entered is be subscribed, have those notifications turned on, and drop a like. And on any video on the channel, leave a comment with your favorite Marvel character and your Twitter handle. That way, if you win, I can get hold of you. Good luck to everybody. At number 18 today, on your left, in the Winter Soldier. Now, the on your left moment at the beginning of the Winter Soldier doesn't seem like a big deal at first, but when you look at it in the context of the broader MCU, it was super important. It's the introduction between Steve and Sam, which ends up being a very important bond going forward and still is, especially since Sam ends up becoming the next Captain America. I love this moment. I know a lot of you do as well. At number 17 today, Captain America versus Thanos in Infinity War. Now, it was only a brief moment, but Cap goes toe-to-toe with Thanos in a super powerful moment, especially when you consider the fact that Steve was able to hold off the Mad Titan's punch for a few seconds. Now, when Steve is in full fight mode, he's insanely powerful, and this was a great moment to show that. At number 16 today, Thanos' first appearance in The Avengers. Now, during the first post-credit scenes of The Avengers, we got our first look at the Mad Titan himself pulling all the strings. Thanos didn't become a major player in the MCU until a few years later, but when we first saw him on the big screen, we all got insanely hyped for what was to come. It's a little weird looking back at it now because in the first Avengers movie, Thanos was played by a different actor and then was recast to Josh Brolin moving forward, but it's still an awesome moment and one of the most fear-inducing in the entire MCU. Counting down to number 15 today, Cap versus Iron Man in Civil War. The moment we were all waiting for going into the movie. Cap and Iron Man exchanged blows a couple times in Civil War, but the final battle sequence, it was amazing. Nobody knew what was going to happen or how it was going to impact the MCU moving forward at that time, but it was definitely one of the most powerful moments of the entire franchise and the entire Infinity Saga. At number 14, I Am Iron Man in Iron Man 1. This was one that nobody saw coming. Seriously, when's the last time you saw a superhero movie where the hero announced his secret identity to the entire world? This was not only a shocking moment at the time as a viewer, but it helped solidify who Tony actually was as a character. The cocky confidence would get him into a lot of trouble moving forward, but this takes the cake. At number 13 today, Scarlet Witch versus Thanos in Endgame. Now, it only lasted for a few seconds, but the one-on-one between Wanda and Thanos was extremely important. It not only helped us see the misery that Wanda was feeling after losing Vision, but it also finally let us see Scarlet Witch unhinged. Let's be real. There was no holding back, no pulling punches, just her beating the crap out of Thanos. Just imagine what would have happened if they weren't interrupted. At number 12 today, Gamora's death in Infinity War. Now, Gamora was a fan favorite character, and part of the reason why her death was so tragic was because of the cutoff of the romance between her and Peter Quill. The two of them had a slow but steady bond growing, and then right when they finally embrace each other, we finally see them kiss, it's cut short. Gamora's death was incredibly emotional, and I'm sure it's going to play a major part in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. At number 11 today, Natasha's death in Endgame. Not to one-up Gamora, but I think most everybody will agree that Natasha had the more emotional death on Vormir. The fight between her and Clint was extremely powerful, as both heroes were willing to die for each other in the greater good of the universe. And then we finally saw Natasha fall, and it was hard not to shed a tear. I'm glad we got to see Black Widow one last time after this. It was a beautiful ending to the character and an extremely powerful moment. At number 10 today, Thor enters Wakanda in Infinity War. After Thor took the force of a star, well, we didn't really know if he was going to be the same, right? But when he finally entered the Battle of Wakanda, we knew we were in for a treat. Not only does he have an awesome entrance, but he then lays waste to hundreds of Thanos' minions without breaking a sweat. Few moments in the MCU show off Thor's true power better than this one. I told you to bring a box of tissues. At number 9, I Love You 3000 in Endgame. Probably the most quoted line in Endgame, I Love You 3000 got more and more heartbreaking as the movie went on. It started as a great moment to show us Tony is a father, and following his death, it became a gut-wrenching sentence to honor his memory. I mean, rewatching Endgame, it's hard not to get emotional with this one. At number 8 today, On Your Left in Endgame. Like I said before, the On Your Left line gets more and more important as the MCU goes on. Following Hulk's snap, the blip is undone and the Avengers are finally assembled. We get to hear Sam repeat that On Your Left bit back to Cap as an entire army enters the fray, and we finally get to hear Steve say, Avengers Assemble. This was one of the best moments in theater history. At number 7, Thor jumping down on the bridge in Ragnarok. Now, Thor's a great character, but he kind of had it rough in his solo films, right? His first two movies, they're not exactly the most well-received in the MCU, and that's okay, but when he finally jumps down on the bridge in Ragnarok, it is clear he's truly a hero worthy of standing next to the other Avengers. Plus, you got goosebumps with this sequence. I know you did. At number 6 today, Yondu sacrificing Guardians 2. Now, who would have thought Yondu would get one of the most heartbreaking moments in all of the MCU? He starts off as this cold, distant gang leader and eventually becomes a true father to Peter Quill. His character arc to me was fantastic and his sacrifice was absolutely amazing. At number 5 today, the Avengers Together in New York in the Avengers. The whole 360 pan. The whole Battle of New York is awesome. But when we got that first 360 shot of the Avengers together at last, what a moment for Marvel fans. This is what we all came to the theater for, and it was absolutely worth the wait. At number 4, the snap in Infinity War. Now, I think going into Infinity War, we didn't actually expect Thanos to win. Sure, we knew he wouldn't be defeated, but we didn't think he would succeed on this level. The snap is one of the most powerful moments in cinema history. It wiped out a giant list of fan-favorite characters all at once at that time. It seemed completely unthinkable at the time, and looking back, I'm still amazed they pulled this moment off so well. At number 3 today, Cap lifts Mjolnir in Endgame. Now, if Age of Ultron made you happy, well, this moment was one of the biggest payoffs in Marvel history. You probably screamed with enthusiasm. Steve Rogers was truly worthy of wielding Mjolnir, and seeing him use it alongside his iconic shield was nothing short of awesome. The moment where he catches the hammer still gives me goosebumps every time I watch it, and the theater reactions to this are some of the best you could ever find. At number 2, I Am Iron Man in Endgame. One of the first things Steve Rogers says to Tony Stark is that he's not the guy to lay himself on the line and make the sacrifice play. Well, it seemed fitting that he made the ultimate sacrifice in Endgame. After stealing the stones from Thanos, Tony sacrifices himself by using his snap to wipe out Thanos and his army, ending his assault and finally finishing off the Mad Titan. But there's one moment that hit me a little harder than this one. At number 1 today, Tony's funeral in Endgame. Just in case you didn't cry at Tony's sacrifice, you definitely cried at his funeral. Everybody was here to pay their respects to the man who started all. He had the first film in the MCU. He had perhaps the biggest character arc of all the Avengers, and he made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure the safety of the entire universe. Tony's funeral was an extremely emotional moment for Marvel fans around the world, and if you ask me, it was the most powerful scene in the entire MCU's Infinity Saga. And there you have it, my friends. Let me know one moment that didn't make it that was deserving of an honorable mention. There was a lot of moments, but we could only squeeze 20 of them in. And if you guys enjoyed this type of video and you want to see more ranking videos in the Marvel Universe, maybe the DC, maybe Star Wars, you let me know. We can definitely make it happen. Check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you soon.